Today we're going to go over the top 10 TV shows that featured the saxophone playing its main theme. So these shows have the saxophone prominently featured in its main theme song. Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in at number 10, ladies and gentlemen, we got Fish. This theme is definitely the funkiest on this list. It's a spinoff from another TV show that was also really funky called Barney Miller. Both of these shows are like cop detective law type of shows, and it's amazing to me how many of these cop detective law type shows actually prominently featured a soprano sax in their opening theme. Coming in at number 9, we got New York Undercover. This show was pretty popular in the 90s when all the like black gangster stuff was really popular. It's kind of a televised New Jack City type of show, but definitely it's got that New Jack vibe, that New Jack swing type of sound in that theme song. Definitely one of my favorites. Coming in at number 8, we got Law and Order. This show has been on the air for a very long time, and as far as I know, it is actually still on the air. Originally, this actually had a clarinet instead of a soprano sax, but I think with all the cop shows using soprano sax, they switched it over, and that's what triggered it to me. Definitely a very good one. Coming in at number 7, ladies and gentlemen, Roseanne. I know she's controversial now, but you know who's not controversial? The person who wrote the song and the person who played the saxophone, who, if I'm not mistaken, was Gary Herbig. He was pretty much the go-to LA sax guy for theme shows in like maybe the 70s, definitely the 80s and the 90s for sure. Rarely was there a show whose opening theme really just encapsulates what this show is about without actually having any lyrics to do it. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Would have ranked higher, but every time I've played this, no one has recognized it. So coming in at 7, Roseanne. Coming in at number 6, ladies and gentlemen, Night Court. Definitely one of my favorites to play, and people will actually recognize this sometimes when you play it. It's got a very, very catchy theme to it. Originally played on soprano, and it's got that tenor sax break that's there. I love this thing. So before I get to number 5, ladies and gentlemen, let's pay for this thing. Let's take a break. Coming in at number 5, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's favorite Melmacian, Alf. Now, it's good to know that seasons 1 and 2 actually had the piano lead. It was seasons 3 and 4 where they kind of sped up the tempo a little bit, and then they had the saxophone lead. To me, that just sold it. I was already a very huge fan of this song and this TV show, and once they did that, that was it for me, man. One of the things that I really liked about this show, and whenever shows do that, it just really resonates to me as a saxophone player, is when they actually have a saxophone theme and they actually have the character playing the saxophone. We get this in The Simpsons, and we definitely get this with Alf, as he's got this little plastic saxophone. That kind of stuff is cute to me. All right, let's move on to number 4. Coming in at number 4, ladies and gentlemen, we got Stacy Keach himself as Mike Hammer. The name of that song, Harlem Nocturne. You play that song anywhere in the U.S. and people are thinking of this TV show. Definitely resonates very, very strongly with the American audience. Definitely one of my favorite, one of the first songs I even learned. Alrighty then. Number 3 and number 2, I really went back and forth deciding which one was going to place that high, but they are so very well known, not just for the song, but also for the TV show that they are associated with. So coming in at number 3, ladies and gentlemen, Benny Hill. Definitely one of my favorite shows. I actually wasn't even allowed to watch this because it was too risque when I was a kid. But it had that saxophone theme, yakety sax. And now it's pretty much a meme for anybody doing anything ridiculous or stupid. Okay. Coming in at number 2, you guys definitely saw this one coming. The theme to the Pink Panther, written by Henry Mancini himself. I mean, you just can't go wrong with that one. This one, I mean, what else is there to say about the Pink Panther? Play this anywhere around the world and people know it. There you go. Before I get to number 1, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to go over some honorable mentions. Number 1 on the honorable mention list is The Streets of San Francisco. Definitely very funky, prominently features saxophone, but hardly anybody knows this thing anymore. Another one is The Cosby Show. Cosby Show pretty much greatly changed their opening theme every season that they had. I know that it's very controversial, but for the same reason that Roseanne is on this list, this thing gets an honorable mention. I think it was season 6 and 7 where the saxophone finally actually got around to playing the lead, the melody of this theme. Another honorable mention, can't leave this one off, but it's definitely The Simpsons. If you listen to The Simpsons now, it's like a flute and classical alto saxophone that plays that opening line. And then it's an orchestra, and then it has finally a Barry saxophone solo in the middle with Lisa playing. Like I said, with Alf, I love it when the character actually plays the saxophone. But unfortunately, most of that theme is not a saxophone feature. And in the first season, I think they actually had a tenor playing that Barry sax break. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get to number 1. And number 1, the all-time top saxophone themed TV show in United States history, Saturday Night Live. I mean, how could you pick anything else if there is one show that's ever been on the air where a saxophone has pretty much brought us into it? It is definitely this one. For as long as this show has even been on the air, the format has pretty much been the same. That Saturday night saxophone brings us into Saturday Night Live. Even before Lenny Pickett was on there. But when Lenny Pickett came on, that was it. We definitely not only get to see the guy playing sax, but he's playing it live. They actually show his face. This is definitely one of the most influential shows that I grew up listening to and even watching. And for about 10 years, I would only watch the intro and then I'd go out and kick it at the club. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. If you guys like this kind of stuff, let me know and I will do more of it. So there you go.